Hey everyone, welcome back to another Alliance War video. This is Season 40 War 8. We're up against a new nation. Starting off, I have Path 5 in Section 1, the Cersei followed by the Kitty Pride. After those fights, let's see, I'll be taking this Dr. Doom on node 23, a matchup that I was a little bit worried about because I'm using an unorthodox strategy that I'll go over later. Then I have Path 9, that Spider-Man Supreme and Mole Man. And then all I have on Boss Island is the final boss, that Nick Fury. Yeah, not as big of a war as some, but still going to be fun. All right, so starting off, we have this Node 2 Cersei. I'm going to be taking this with Valkyrie. I've done this fight a few times now, and pretty much with a lot of my assignments, once I get it once and I do well, I get it almost every war. And the one thing that I've talked about in other videos, something that I try not to do with Valkyrie, is use my special 2 against Cersei because it's just going to automatically trigger glancing. I kind of forget about this in this fight. I get up to my special 2 and it triggers the glancing, but overall it's really not that big of a difference. The glancing only slowed down the fight a little bit. I'm really trying to get her to not throw random heavies. Unfortunately, she did right there, and I think she does again at some point, but her glancing is on cooldown, so it doesn't really work in her favor. But something that I'm going to be doing soon, hopefully, is going over Valkyrie a bit and going over all of the different methods that there are to bait defenders into blocking and hitting into their block, because there's a few different ways that people like to do it. I'm going to try and compile a bunch of those, give some examples, but also do a bunch of different fights and sort of figure out which one statistically works the best. I have like my ideas about it, and I do think the method that I use and a lot of people use either consciously or unconsciously to hit block is dashing back at the same time or right after the defender dashes back to get that opening. And yeah, hopefully that'll be a good guide on how to safely block hit with Valkyrie, because although in most cases it's okay to like accidentally intercept a defender, but there are some fights where you just don't want to do that and you can get punished. So hopefully that will be coming soon. But while I was going over that Cersei went down. There was really nothing to that fight. I've done it a bunch of times. Here's a new one, a new fight that I've never done with Valkyrie, Kitty Pride. But as soon as I got this assignment, I realized how perfect it is on paper. As long as I never hit Kitty and never stun her, she's never going to get any prowess, so there's no worry about her phasing. I do think at some point I hit her accidentally. Yeah, right there. And I think that's the only time I hit her in this fight. But even if I were to give her a bunch of prowess, I'm very comfortable fighting Kitty without methods of removing her prowess other than naturally through blocking a special, because that's all you have to do. You just bait the special 1, you make sure you block at least part of it like I do here. In fact, I'm pretty good at only taking 1 blocked hit and dexing the other 2, and then she loses all her prowess and there's no worry. For some reason, Kitty on this node was kind of spamming those heavies. I think it's just the AI on certain nodes is going to interact differently to try to benefit from whatever abilities the node is giving it. I don't know if that's true or not, but it feels like it, so that's why you have champs that don't normally spam heavies like that. Just kind of throwing heavies randomly. Yeah, Valkyrie has this fight totally under control. Really great matchup, honestly. Similar to how Crossbones is also a really great matchup, even with class disadvantage. If you can just take away all of her abilities that make her a difficult defender, then class disadvantage really doesn't matter too much. Okay, here was the fight I was most worried about this war. It's Doom on node 23. But I had a strategy going in. I was going to be dealing most of my damage through phasing the entirety of his special 2. I also plan to block special 1, but I think a few times I mess it up. But because I have Tiger on the team, I'm going to be fully unblockable, and he's got power focus 2. And yeah, right there, I can phase by just doing normal medium light backdrafts. I'll phase the first downward hits of a special 2. I can back up a few times and then dodge the rest of it. The trick is to make sure I always have enough prowess to phase those. So that's what the Wax pre-fight is there for, so that I can very easily parry and get back up to whatever amount of prowess I need. It was kind of difficult to land parries against this guy at sometimes, but it wasn't too bad. And yeah, I don't want to get rooted at all. Getting rooted is the worst thing that can happen with Kitty, because if you can't dash forward, you can't phase. So I'm going to ignore how much power he's getting. I'm just going to keep hitting into him. Here I get hit by a special 1, but it's whatever. I managed to dash in while unblockable. Actually, that might have been an issue, because I wasn't unblockable when I dashed in. If he had decided to hold block, I might have gotten rooted there. But yeah, the strategy seems to be working really well. I'm keeping high enough prowess to like keep doing damage. I'm fully phasing his special 2s, and the ending's kind of cool. Here, I just kind of stand. I just barely I phased right before it hit me, and Doom just kind of dies seemingly from nothing. Yeah, I was really, really worried about that fight. I knew I could do it, but I knew that all it would take was getting rooted one time for things to get very scary. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with that. I think I would have been fine had it happened once, because I could have dropped just a special 3 to get me out of there, and then build up my prowess really easily by just parrying one more time, but it was still a little scary. And here's the matchup that I've gotten, I want to say 8 wars in a row. This is Spidey Supreme. Valkyrie is just, in general, the best counter for Spidey Supreme in war, in my opinion, because he's not going to get placed on a node where traditional counters like Spidey 99 or Torch can take him, easily anyways, and then Valk just takes away everything that makes him annoying as a defender if played properly. Obviously, you don't want to accidentally intercept this guy, because that hurts when you take the hits to the face. I got distracted from the block damage I was seeing with the pierces that he gets. Yeah, this is a slower fight, but I don't plan on ever dying to a Spidey Supreme with Valkyrie. It's just, unless you get like ridiculous AI that is just never going to hold block, it should always be a solo. But I'm sure that statement will come back to bite me later. Okay, last Valkyrie fight this war. It's a Mole Man on node 45. I've taken this fight a few times too. All I gotta do is get to that first pierce, and then Mole Man becomes just a bad defender. Nothing is worrisome once I have that first pierce. Obviously, I don't want to hit him in the face because of hazard shift, but even if I do accidentally hit him once or twice, and every single time I hit him I get a debuff, it's not going to kill me. It's not going to come close to killing me. In fact, I might even net heal from one of them. I'm not really sure. If he has Despair, probably don't net heal. Yeah, if he gets any Unstoppables, doesn't matter. If he gets any Flourishes, doesn't matter. It's just a very safe fight for Valkyrie, although it takes a little bit of time. Yeah, not much else to say about this matchup. There's lots of dead space to fill sometimes in these Valkyrie fights. But I'm sure that'll get easier with time. And maybe with some more diverse matchups. Lizer, always making me fight Spidey Supreme and Cersei and Mole Man. Luckily, she didn't take this Fury Boss from me. She could definitely solo it just fine with Omega, but I do get to take this Fury Boss next. Taking this fight with Kitty Pryde, have the full Suicides on, and the plan was to throw on a combat region boost just to help with any damage that I took at the beginning. Completely forgot about that somehow. It was a bit of a busy night for me last night. I'm a UNC alum, and UNC played Duke last night in basketball, and there's just a lot going on. Plus, we lost that game, so it didn't feel great. But yeah, now I've got my 3 prowess minimum, and I've pushed Nick Fury to special 2, so the fight is under control now. At this point, no Kitty player worth his salt should ever die in this fight, if you just play it safe and do exactly what I'm doing. especially if you have Tiger on the team and you can just do basic combos. You medium light backdraft up until he gets above a bar of power, then you're going to do as many hits, like a 4-hit backdraft, then 5 full combo hits to push him to special 2. If he does throw a special 1, okay, you phase it. If not, great, you bait the special 2, and you just keep repeating this. Kitty Pryde deals more than enough basic damage because of her extremely high crit rate and class advantage, so with Tiger on the team, there's no need to ever throw a special unless you're in a pickle and you need to get out of a situation. Even without Tigra, you may not have to, but if you don't have Tigra, it's probably best to throw like a special 3 to ramp up some prowess, and then, I don't know, maybe save up to another special 3. If you feel like throwing a special 2, you could do that as well. Yeah, but ideally, you have Tigra and full suicides. Yeah, this is the first. A Nick Fury boss was the first one that I took this season. I think this is the 5th overall, 5th in 5 wars, so I'm 5 for 8 on bosses so far and haven't died yet. This has been a pretty good and a very fun season at that. Even when, you know, a lot of my fights are repetitive, like Valkyrie and Kitty, you know, I'm having a good time. Other than that Penny fight last war, you know, it's nice to have a season like this where I'm just not really dying. Here, Nick Fury gets a little annoying because he throws a couple special 1s, which is whatever, but he just, after the special 1, he just walks forward, waits for me to dash at him, and tries to, like, sidestep intercept me. Just walks forward, tries to sidestep. He does this, yeah, a bunch of times, so this Fury was not happy with how I was beating the crap out of him and decided he wanted to get tricky, but that's not going to work. I am too fast for you. All right, just a couple more hits here, and I want to say I end this fight, yeah, exactly at 3 minutes, or maybe like a second before. But yeah, that'll be it for my war. We did end up losing this war on time. This was such a great performance from us following our last war. It does suck to lose on time, but NewN did have 1 disconnect, so I like to imagine they beat us 1-2, so it doesn't hurt as bad as losing on time. And yeah, there's Fintech with the MVP. I actually did a little bit of reconnaissance this war. I was asked about you know, if they had lots of Kitty Pryde players, so I decided to just message him, and yeah, apparently they have 5 rank 5 Kitty Prydes in every single battle group. We decided, you know, that would be probably a little too harsh to just ban 15 of their rank 5 Kitty Prydes, but if anyone's going up against NewN in the future, just know they heavily rely on her. They have so many rank 5s. You should definitely be banning them. Here, afterwards, he tries to lie and say that, oh, they don't really have as many. No, you can't fool me. So I give him a little GG message. Let him know we decided to go easy. But yeah, in the future, if you want to beat NewN Nation, ban all of those rank 5 Kitty Prydes that they just have overwhelmingly in every single battle group. Love you, Fen. Alright, well, that'll be it for this war video. Hope you guys had a good time watching those Valk and Kitty Pryde fights, and I'll see you in the next one.